Katika Qur'an tukufu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anatuamuru tukumbushane, kwani kukumbushana kunawafaa waumini. Kwa mujibu wa hadithi, Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam anatushauri tueneze ujumbe wake angalau kwa aya moja. Basi tunatia ari kufanya ambacho ni jukumu la kila Muislamu, kukumbushana mema na kukatazana maovu. Tunakuletea mawaidha za mashehe, wataalam, maustadh, madrasa, makala spesheli na Optifatuma Yakub, mafunzo na historia za mitume na maswahaba, na burudani kupitia nashid na wasifu za munshid. Tazama ukumbi wa Kiislamu nami Alishe kila Ijumaa saa 9:30 katika KBC Channel 1.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream, all for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
When the hills gave way in Marakwet, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marakwet. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marakwet County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
Deep in the arid parts of the country, a silent crisis is turning fields into choking dust.
Naendelea na kulima tu ili Mungu anisaidie, sijui mvua itanyesha. Wajua mvua ni yake. Nifanye kazi yangu, nimwashilie ile yake.
Sasa hii ng'ombe zikiisha, jamii ya Wamasai wote wamefeli kimaisha.
Nilikuwa na ng'ombe 100. Sasa niko na 80, 20 imekufa. Mbuzi nilikuwa na 200, sasa niko na 100.
So hapo hakuna kujimudu hapa. Ni kungoja kukufa.
Join me, Yusuf Farah, from Friday to Sunday at 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as I bring you Triple Effect of Drought.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime News, where Kenya is set to roll out the groundbreaking lenacavir antiretroviral medication in January 2026. The new treatment hailed as a major advancement in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Details in just a moment, including sports news. My name is Maria Yambo, and helping me on the sign language is Lucy Maura. We begin this bulletin where Kenya's economic framework is set to undergo major changes expected to streamline regulation, strengthen corporate governance and constitutional clarity. This is after President William Ruto assented to 3 bills, namely the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill and the Provisional Collection of Taxes and Duties Repeal Bill. The Capital Markets Amendment Bill hands the Treasury Cabinet Secretary new powers to set shareholding limits for brokers and fund managers. The move aimed at boosting flexibility and aligning Kenya with global best practices. Now, the government-owned enterprises bill restructures state corporations into public companies under the Companies Act, tightening governance with independent boards, performance contracts and incentives to safeguard sustainability. The Provisional Collection of Taxes and Duties Repeal Bill cleans up the statute book, scrapping a 1951 law declared unconstitutional to reaffirm that only Parliament can impose taxes. Now to matters HIV, where the National Syndemic Disease Control Council is warning that the country must urgently prioritize adolescent, youth and mothers if it hopes to end AIDS by 2030. Speaking in Nairobi ahead of this year's World AIDS Day celebration, the council's CEO Douglas Bosiri revealed new data shows nearly 20,000 new HIV infections and 21,000 AIDS-related deaths were recorded in 2024, signaling that Kenya has not yet achieved epidemic control. Speaking at the same event, National AIDS and STI Control Program, NASCOP CEO, that is Dr. Andrew Mulwa, called for a renewed focus on integrated health systems, prevention among youth, and eliminating mother-to-child transmission amid plans to roll out lenacapavir antiretroviral medication in January 2026.
We are going to be focusing on adolescents and young people, not because that there is the only group of concern, but we know that the future of the nation belongs or depends on a healthy, economically productive, skilled and educated generation of young people.
That our resilience as a health system has been truly tested. We were able and have a reason to celebrate to sustain the 1.3 million plus people on HIV management, on treatment.
The Private Security Regulatory Authority has begun nationwide public participation on the Draft Security Regulation 2025, an exercise seeking to incorporate stakeholder opinions on regulations that will help streamline the sector. Led by the Private Security Regulatory Authority Chief Executive Officer Philip Okello, the stakeholders drawn from the Western and Nyanza regions urged for an expedited adoption of the regulations, which they noted was long overdue. The draft regulations include, among others, the use of animals in the private security sector, as well as procedures for appointment of directors into the Private Security Board.
You know, since the establishment of the authority or enactment of the Private Security Regulation Act Cap 207 in 2016, we are in 2025 and we don't have the regulation. So we cannot have a house that does not have pillars. So the pillars of the house in this case are the regulations that are undergoing public participation today countrywide, and we expect to have another final round of public participation on Monday in Nairobi, KICC Lenana Hall at 10 a.m. Kenyan time. So what we are saying is that we need an industry that is professional, that is ethical, and that I need my people to be treated with the dignity and honor.
It was not until 2016 that this act was eventually passed. And when it was passed, there have been attempts before to put the regulations in place. But one way or the other, we find that certain things were not done right. And those regulations did not see light of the day in Parliament. And that is why this stakeholder engagement is extremely important, so that everybody is carried along, so that at the end of the day, everybody accepts and says, yes, we accept these regulations.
A look at politics now, where candidates in by-elections slated for next week, Thursday, are pulling out all stops to woo voters ahead of the mini-polls. In Bere North constituency, tension is building over allegations of manipulation of voter register, with the Democratic Party alleging a move to rig the elections.
The allegations by the Justin Muturi-led party stem from allegations that IEBC was planning to use the 2017 voter register, a move they claim will lock out thousands who registered afterwards. Muturi accuses the electoral body of attempting to manipulate the by-election through a poll register that may dent the credibility of the election, saying such a move will suppress the voter turnout.
Mtu akija kupiga kura kituo chochote, akute jina lake aliko. Nyinyi watu wa IBC, presiding officers, returning officers, na commissioners, nyinyi we are going to hold you responsible and accountable.
The Chama cha Kazi CCK candidate Duncan Mbowe, in the meantime, has denied claims by his opponents that he is a state project meant to split the opposition vote in the constituency.
Hiyo uvumi inaenezwa na watu wa DP. Ambia Gachagua na JB Muturi ili wameshindwa kufanyia Karishi campaign. Waachane na Mbowe. Mbowe yeye hayuko kwa serikali na siwezi kuwa kwa serikali. Moses Kuria hayuko kwa serikali. Mimi nafanya kampeni yangu kivyangu.
In Malava constituency, candidates in the race are intensifying their campaigns as they seek to rally voters to back their bid. The National Ordinary People Empowerment Union NOPEU candidate Benjamin Nalo, who took his campaigns to West Kabras Ward, called on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to ensure a free and fair poll.
Like last election, ulikuta polling ballot box zilikuwa tunakaa station for almost three days. Na hiyo ina raise suspicion ya kwamba kuna ukora inaendelea.
In Nyamira County, the Ford Kenya party has stepped up its campaigns in the Kerenyo ward by-election, where the party is fronting the only female candidate in the race. The party insists that Margaret Nyanchama will bring new perspectives to the leadership of the ward.
Wamama tuko na kazi mingi ya kufanya katika familia. Na najua ya kwamba naomba wamama, na waomba kwa kupenda kwenu, mkubali mnipee kura kama mama, ili niende kule county assembly nifanye maendeleo yale yanayohitaji katika wadi yetu ya Kerenyo.
Watu wa Kerenyo ward, mujaribu muweke historia katika kaunti ya Nyamira. Mchague mama aende akaweze kuwakilisha katika county assembly.
Hakuna kura inaleta manufaa kama kura ya mama. Nasema hivi nikijua kwamba mimi ni wa Kirinyaga. Kirinyaga kule kuanzia governor mpaka MP ni kina mama.
John Jacob Kuria, Lunchtime News.
Thank you, JJ. Now, a cloud of grief and sorrow hovered over the Ndumberi Stadium in Kiambu County as family, musicians and friends of the late Beatrice Wairimu Mbugua, also known as Betty Bayo, gathered to bid a final farewell to the renowned musician. Bayo died on Monday, November the 10th, 2025, while receiving treatment at the Kenyatta National Hospital after battling acute myeloid leukemia.
Thursday morning, the convoy ferrying the remains of the late gospel musician Beatrice Wairimu Mbugua, popularly known as Betty Bayo, left Kenyatta University Funeral Home, snaking slowly through the Kiambu Road en route to the Ndumberi Stadium for the burial ceremony.
We are negotiating at this corner.
And at the stadium, family, musicians and thousands of her supporters gathered to offer their final salute to the fallen icon and a singer who inspired a generation. The choir performing her favorite worship songs, transforming the stadium into a pool of emotional tears. Here, tributes painted a picture of an iconic lady who lived fully, sang boldly, and always loved deeply. Top government officials are present, led by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, eulogized Betty Bayo as an icon who used her talent to uplift and inspire the society, hailing her legacy as one that will continue to shape the country's gospel industry.
Mimi nilikuwa najua wimbo moja, The 11th Hour. Na huyo wimbo Mungu alitumia ulimi wa dada yetu kubariki mioyo ya watu wengi, kuinua mioyo ya familia nyingi. Mimi askofu na waombolezaji wenzangu, naomba Mungu anisaidie ulimi wangu usikalete laana, bali ulete baraka na usaidie hata kama ni mtu mmoja.
The second in command reaffirming the government's commitment to supporting the bereaved family.
Katika hiyo trust, kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeongea na mheshimiwa wa Mombi na wale waheshimiwa wa hapa Kawanjiko, na hata tulikuwa na hiyo habari. Kwa hivyo hata rais pia amesema kwa hiyo trust fund ya family ya marehemu dada yetu atachangia kwa elimu ya watoto na shilingi milioni 5. Na niambiwe the account number, I'll transfer the money immediately.
Betty's family spoke of strength in her final days, fighting bravely despite the pain.
I told her that we miss her and we love her, and it's so sad to come back home to not see your mom there anymore because she's sick in the hospital. I used to come to school telling myself when I come back home I'll see mom. You know, she used to have a favorite like spot where she would sit down. So I would always imagine come back home and see her there. But I never saw her.
But hear this, my love, and hold it close in your internal rest. My commitment to our children is now the very engine of my life.
The clergy describing her as a pillar of ministry, while fellow artists remembered her as a big sister whose generosity and humility defined her music career.
Wakati nilikuwa nimeshindwa kiasi kununua shamba ya kujenga kanisa kule, alikuja akanipea $500,000, 500,000.
You build your life with grace. You raise our children with humility. You forgive more than most people ever could.
The late Betty Bayo rose to the limelight through her inspiring tunes, including The 11th Hour, Maneno, Jemedari, and Nokore Tukadayo, among others. She was later laid to rest in a private ceremony at Mugumo Estate along Kiambu Road. She is survived by her 2 children, Sky Victor and Danny Victor, and her husband, Hiram Gitau. As the nation bows in grief in honor of a legend, one thing remains undisputed. Betty Bayo lives more than just melodies. She's left a legacy built on faith and a voice that healed millions of hearts. And truly, an icon exists, but her legacy marches on. John Kahiro for Channel 1 News, Dumberi Stadium, Kiambu County.
John Kahiro reporting there. Of course, that burial happened yesterday. May she rest in peace and much comfort to the family. To other news, where property of unknown value went up in flames after fire brought down more than 500 households in South B for Tanyayo slums. 2 people are suspected to have died in the fire incident and several others hospitalized with different degrees of burns. That is, residents blamed leaders for the slow response towards the emergency. Now, the residents said the firefighters came late and were poorly equipped, having less water, making the fire spread faster. Several gas cylinders exploded, making the situation even worse. They urged both the county and national government to come to their aid and provide them with shelter, as hundreds of families are now homeless.
Moto jana ilikuja, moto ikachoma nyumba yetu, mpaka bibi yangu mpaka saa hizi sijui ako wapi. Watoto ndio niko nao, mama nimemtafuta mpaka saa hizi sijamuona, sijui ako wapi. Venye ndio kwa tulikimbia, moto tuliona moto imekuja, nilikimbia nikaokoa watoto, nikamwambia atoke mbio, na mimi nikabeba watoto wote nikakimbia, nikamwambia anifuate nyuma.
Hii moto ilianza usiku saa 6 na mimi nilistuka saa 9. Kwangu ni hapa. Sasa benye hiyo moto nilisikia nduru moto, nilitoka tu na kuchukua mama yangu, sikubeba kitu, na mpaka saa hii hatujaona mtu yeyote anaweza kutusaidia.
Kwa serikali sote, kiwango sote, wakipikiwa na hii ripoti penye wataipata, waone penye watatushughulikia. Hata kama watatuletea hema tulale ndani kwa leo na kesho, wakiona penye tutafanya, au watoto hata wapate chai. Mimi tangu niamke saa 8 sijakunywa hata maji, na nimechomekewa na nyumba 16.
Civil society movements across Africa have raised concerns over unfulfilled pledges made for the last 8 years in conferences on climate change by the developed nations. The group notes that since COP 2022, that is, climate finance has been pledged, among other support to developing countries that are the most hit by vagaries of climate change, yet none has been met. Speakers at the COP30 conference in Belém, Brazil, claim the only way to end the escalating impacts of climate change and to bring an end to the yearly climate conferences is for the highest polluters to agree to go green.
They have been talking about climate financing and aiming to raise 100 billion annually, US dollars. But this one was doubled to 300 billion. That has not been raised up to now. Even as today, as we are speaking, in Belém, they have not agreed on the climate financing. That's one issue. The second issue is issues of climate smart agriculture, issues of RED Plus projects. The only solution that we need is a solution that's stopping coal mining.
One of the tools that we are using as peasants in La Via Campesina is a peasant rights declaration. So that is our Bible that we will take forward and promote so that we can see that the planet is cooled down.
All solutions that farmers come with, I beg the governments to really take in of them and respect them and give them a chance to actually get good solutions that can help the farmers.
Tension is high in Jamhuri Estate, with residents demanding the demolition of illegal kiosks, which they claim are fueling insecurity, drug peddling and water shortages. According to the residents, the illegal structures have been built on sewer lines and water pipes, causing frequent water disruptions.
Jamhuri Estate in Nairobi. Irate residents are demanding action following what they say is the construction of illegal structures operated by individuals involved in drug peddling, attracting young buyers and heightening insecurity. They also accuse water cartels of brokering flow of water to sell water to residents.
The water vendors benefit more when they are making sales, because when there's water flowing, of course you can't have anyone buying water.
Kuna watu wanauza madawa huko kwa hizo vioski na wanauzia watoto wa hii area, which is very dangerous for our children. And we are concerned kwa sababu watoto lika ile iko hapa ikipata nafasi ya kunywa hizo madawa inawadhuru wao wenyewe.
They now want the structures demolished and action taken against the culprits. Meanwhile, in Mtwati sub-county, Meru County, police officers led by Deputy County Commissioner Joel Kieti have arrested 3 suspects and intercepted a vehicle ferrying illegal second-generation alcohol. The officers, who were on patrol along the Lare-Mutwati road, seized 101 cartons of contraband liquors, 50 cartons of smart vodka, and 51 cartons of Trigger vodka, believed to have been destined for sale in Mutwati market.
KRA ilibaini ya kwamba zile stickers zimetumika pale ni badia. Hii pombe ya kienyeji tumehakikisha tupigane nayo kila siku, usiku na mchana. Kwa wiki imepita tumeweza kunaza zaidi ya lita 1,000.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Aaron Marie.
Kenya risks falling further behind in the first evolving battle to protect children online. Child safety experts warn that harmful digital content, including AI-generated abuse, is now mutating faster than the laws meant to stop it. Speaking at a child protection forum in Nairobi, the experts, led by Children Rights Advocacy and Legal Aid Foundation, said gaps in the Children Act and slow policy making have left millions of young learners in the country exposed as schooling and social life shift online. They're now urging Parliament to act with speed before the dangers escalate.
Child safety experts in the country warn that online exploitation is becoming more complex and mutating faster than our laws can catch up. They point to the Children Act, which does not address artificial intelligence, despite AI now being used to generate harmful content that targets minors worldwide.
I believe this is just an indicator that they'll keep changing. There will be more and more. And I think what is most important, it is to be able to be, for the government to be ready, even for the policy makers as ourselves, to be able to anticipate the changes that may come with the technology. As we know, they are diverse, and they are not only diverse, they're also very fast.
The forum brought together government agencies, journalists, influencers and child protection officers, launching a countrywide effort to train digital storytellers on responsible reporting and safeguarding.
Previously, we have had a lot of benefits from the mainstream media. We have trained them over and over, and we know them very well. Right now, we can never accuse them of unethical reporting or storytelling. Unfortunately, social media, with all its benefits, right now it threatens or actually has successfully aborted the gains of the mainstream empowerment.
There are content creators who are putting kids out there and using them to make money for themselves. These kids don't even know that they're on these platforms, you know, and it's putting them in a space where they can be harmed by people who don't have good intentions.
Unajua uwezi mnyima mtoto simu, so ukimpea simu unahakikisha that all the apps that hafai ku access umezi lock.
With schools, learning and social interaction steadily moving to digital platforms, experts say Kenya must urgently modernize its laws and equip the public with online safety skills before more young lives are put at risk. Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
To matters climate change, where the Kenya Meteorological Department has called for inclusion of children in climate action by educating them about climate change and empowering them to contribute to solutions. Speaking during the commemoration of World Children's Day in Nairobi, the institution said children are vulnerable to climate change impacts, including extreme weather, natural disasters, and air pollution.
This year's World Children's Day was commemorated differently at the Kenya Meteorological Department offices as they brought children on board. It was here that the environmental and climate actors launched the global CCC campaign, Children's Climate Action and Conservation, an initiative promoting integrated efforts to protect child health, advance climate resilience, and strengthen conservation practices.
These 3 C's, as we have already emphasized, we have children at the start. That is why we launched it today on World Children's Day. The second C, why we are here at Kenya Met, is because of weather and climate and how important that is to children, their health, and their rights. The third C is for conservation.
But why bring children on board?
The increase in temperature, the increase in frequency and intensity of climate-related disasters, of course, is affecting many people, but children are bearing a big challenge because at the end of the day, when these extremes occur, The children oftentimes go without food. Children are in displacement camps. Children lose out on education. Some children encounter death when floods occur.
The stakeholders also disclosed that children are vulnerable to respiratory diseases, emphasizing the need to instill an environmental conservation culture.
We should be getting to the peak of the October, November, December rains. That group countrywide, if you try to listen, we're just getting pockets of rains here and there. What does that tell you? It's what Dr. Pamela said, that this one will resort into some sort of drought.
All that has changed because of the very kind of interaction that the communities have had with the environment.
I've also shared the importance of taking care of the trees, taking care of the environment in terms of recycling. You heard them speak to the issues that parents, include us. Policies need to be able to engage the children. So the children participation, very, very key in climate action.
This year's celebration was observed under the theme Healthy Children, Healthy Climate, Healthy Environment.
Well, and that story by Kasi Chandamasha brings us to our first break of the bulletin. I'll be back with much more, including business and sports.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
The Institution of Engineers of Kenya invites you to the 32nd IEK International Convention happening from 25th to 28th November 2025 at Pride in Paradise Beach Hotel and Spa Mombasa. This year's theme, Engineering the Future, the Roadmap for Kenya. Join engineers, industry leaders and global partners as we shape the blueprint for Kenya's sustainable development. Experience 4 days of powerful sessions, thought-provoking discussions, exhibitions and networking. All set against the serene coastal beauty of Mombasa. Don't miss your chance to connect, collaborate, and make an impact. Visit convention at iekenya.org to register and be part of a transformative experience that defines the future of engineering in Kenya. See you there. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1.
The police come.
What was happening?
That is the thing I'm telling you now.
Continue.
Are baba.
Between me and this guy, who come to thief there?
To thief what?
Kuipa mheshimiwa.
To steal.
Nini yote hiyo?
Sasa thief ni nini? Thief ni mwizi.
Danganyana na morongo yako. Mimi sikujui.
Mistaken identity.
Mistaken identity. Hakuna mtu anafanana na wewe hii dunia wala.
Come on. Wewe wapi uliona koplo ambaye anatuleti?
Trade wapi?
Trade.
Anasema hii. Oh,
trade. Kama wewe.
Au mama anakierere sana.
The bottom-up economic transformation agenda is not just a plan on paper.
Manifesto tulioandika na tukauzia Wakenya na wakatupigia kura, sio gazeti ya kufunga nyama.
It is happening on the ground across Kenya.
Enda subabogi, Moriega, Jodhurwa untie, Mogani, Pamjambo.
In agriculture.
Turkana wameamkia mambo ya ukulima sasa.
On our roads.
Lami black anaingia hapa anagausha hapa. Wacha bana.
In health.
All our patients are insure 100%.
In housing.
Kutoka nyumba za mabati kuleta nyumba kama hii ya ghorofa ni kitu mzuri sana.
In our markets.
Umetukumbuka sisi mama mboga. Shida zetu umezitatua.
And so much more.
It's a good thing the government inakuja mashinani na this is all what we have been requesting.
This is transformation. This is impact. This is delivering the plan. Every Friday on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the news, where the vibrant and world-renowned Lamu Cultural Festival is a beehive of activity, with hundreds attending the annual feat that honors the rich heritage of the Swahili people. Residents say the three-day festival is not only a cultural highlight, but also a major boost to the local economy. Hotel owners, boat operators and traders are reporting increased bookings, heavy foot traffic and improved sales from handcraft souvenirs to local delicacies. The festival's lineup continues to showcase the charm and identity of Lamu.
Lamu culture inafanywa wakati ule ni wa holiday. Kila mtu yuko free, watoto wako kwa wengi na kina mama wengi wamejitosa katika biashara ambazo ni za snacks. So wakati huu watapata a lot of customers ambao wako kwa mahali pamoja. Wakileta products zao huku kwenye upande wa sokoni huku ambako culture imenoga, watapata kupata customers karibu na kwa urahisi sana, na wataweza kujipanua biashara zao kwa siku 3 zijazo na watapata kipato kizuri.
Sisi kama Faza Youth tuko hapa kwa mradi wetu wa Blue ambao sana umefocus na mambo na bahari na fish value chain.
Culture kidogo imeweza kubadilika, ule mfumo wa kwamba zamani ulikuwa ukiangaliwa ni kwamba ni masherehe peke yake, lakini saa hizi ni kwamba imeweza kubadilika. Tunaangazia kwamba kuja kuangalia, kuna exhibition tent, kuna wale ambao wajasiriamali pia wanakuja kuangazia bidhaa zao.
A multi-million shillings restaurant in Westlands, Nairobi, built on a land under dispute, has been vandalized by unknown people. The restaurant, owned by Sajjad Yusuf Mohammed, the son of a late businessman who co-owned the land with 2 other individuals, was invaded by unknown people on Thursday morning in what Yusuf claims to be an attempt to evict him. Yusuf, through a lawyer, alleges he has been managing the restaurant since 2015 and paying rent to Panorama Group Limited, a company owned by his late father and 2 other shareholders, diligently. He said the situation changed in 2024 when his father died and the 2 other shareholders moved in seeking to dispose of the land, a move he opposed. He said it was unfortunate that the vandalism happened even after he had obtained a court order stopping the same just 4 days before the case is heard.
What sits in this property is a restaurant called Nargis Restaurant. Nargis was started by my father's client way back in 2000, where he was leasing this property from another business person. In 2015, he came together with 2 other friends to purchase the property, and his son has been managing the property since, or the restaurant, sorry. So there has been a dispute after one of the directors who owned the property died, and the dispute is that the other directors who are remaining want to develop the property to the exclusion of the one director who is now demised. So there's an ongoing court dispute over that issue, which is still pending before the courts. The magnitude of the destruction is quite huge. My client has over 30 employees who work at these premises. As it stands now, looking at the area, I don't know whether my client will be able to resume business anytime soon. I'd like to see the investigating agencies conducting swift investigations and the persons who have been involved in this to be brought to book and to face the full ramifications of the law.
We head to the counties now. A Migori County Executive Committee member for Health, Caleb Opondi, has challenged residents of Awendo Sub-County to end the habit of open defecation in sugarcane plantations and ensure every homestead has a clean and accessible toilet. Joan Musioka with the details from the counties.
Speaking during the World Toilet Day celebrations held at Awendo Primary School grounds under the theme, "We will always need the toilet," Migori County Executive Committee member for Health, Caleb Opondi, urged every household to construct decent latrines to drastically reduce waterborne diseases and improve hygiene.
Sanitation in Migori County stands at 83.3%, which is not a bad number. And hand washing points in Migori County also stands at 65.5%. Many people in Awendo grow sugarcane. We have many sugarcane plantations. Some sugarcane plantations are just 3 steps away from the homesteads. So maybe they have the nature of going to the sugarcane plantations. As a county government, we started the program of constructing ECD centers so that they can be well equipped.
I've done 6 water points, and out of these 6 water points, 3 of them are already fitted with the water ATMs, which enhances the collection and monitoring of the water usage.
What we know is that 80% of what we treat in Migori County is wash related. So if we have, all of us have toilets, we shall have reduced on these conditions.
Still on health, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Modhoni has called on Kenyans to observe hygiene at home, stating that a large number of diseases are treated by following hygiene principles. Speaking during deliberations of the Ministry's Health 2026-2027 budget estimates, Modhoni said focus is shifting from curative to preventive healthcare.
The issue of hakuna dawa, it must come to an end. We have done reforms at KEMSA, and all we need is to have our refill and the confidence of Kenyans that there are drugs even at the facility level. So at 62% again, we can move it to 100% with clear indication that these drugs are going to right to the facilities. And if I remember the quote that His Excellency equally used yesterday, and he talked about drugs coming from KEMSA and going right to the facility.
Elsewhere, 300 coffee farmers under the Kenyoro Farmers Society in Bonchari constituency have protested the alleged illegal sale of their 10-acre parcel of land by a section of committee members at a cost of 12 million shillings.
Sisi na wakulima wote tumekaa chini, tumeongea, tumesema ya kwamba tutaenda kufanya application katika koti kuu ambaye ni High Court katika mji wetu wa Kisii, ili tupewe orders ambazo zinasema hakuna shamba inauzwa hapa na hakuna mtu anaruhusiwa kukuja hapa until hiyo kesi ambayo itaenda kuwekwa kotini imesikizwa na imeisha, tumejua ukweli ni gani.
Na sisi tunatoa onyo na tunaheshimu sheria ya Kenya. Tunataka huyo jamaa aliyouza shamba na mwenye alinunua wenyewe wakutane, wamlegezee pesa zake kwa njia taratibu. Kwa sababu sisi kama wakulima hatutakubali siku hata moja mtu akaja akachukua hii shamba lote kwa shilingi milioni 12.
And a report on early child education development in Kwale County reveals that most of the school infrastructure is unfriendly to children with disabilities. The report by KISCA, Community Advisory Board, identifies classrooms and learning equipment as the main challenges facing learners with disabilities in early childhood development and education in the county. The report, which was handed over to the Kwale County Government, the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and the national government, recommends more resource allocations to the ECDE, especially those accommodating learners with disabilities.
Kwanza tunapata ripoti ambayo imepikwa na wananchi wenyewe. Kwa hiyo ule uhalisia wa uzuri na changamoto za wale watoto wanaoishi na uwezo maalumu tutazipata kutoka katika mwananchi mwenyewe.
Mtoto mlemavu anahitajika pia awe anapata elimu. So mambo na education, mambo na empowerment kwa jamii, lakini pamoja hata na mlemavu mwenyewe. Iko mambo na social inclusion ambayo imegusiwa pale.
Ile mapendekezo ambayo yamewekwa kwa hiyo ripoti tunaahidi kuyatekeleza, tukizingatia zile huduma zetu ambazo tunazipatia kwa ofisi yetu, tuone ni gani tunaweza tukazitekeleza kwa hiyo ripoti.
Over now to Kakamega, where residents from Muraka area along the Kakamega-Kisumu highway are urging the government to intervene and construct speed bumps on the section of the road that is claiming many lives. This year alone, the residents say 10 lives have been lost along the stretch. The residents say they have made several visits to the Kenya National Highways Authority offices concerning the issue, but no action has been taken so far. The residents vowed to take unspecified action if the issue is not resolved.
I've lost my husband, the father to my children, but he's gone. We worry about the ones that are living, the young people especially.
Kuanzia mbunge ambaye ako Shinyalu, president wetu wa Kenya, tafadhali ili kuokoa watu wetu hapa Maraga na watoto ya shule, tunataka pumps hapa tafadhali. Maana imekuwa hata gari kama imefanya mambo, kwa mfano kama imegonga mtu, inaenda mbio, hata watu wa pikipiki wakifuata hawezi kuipata.
Nao imefika wakati sisi kama wananchi tunaenda kuchukua sheria mikononi. Hii ni warning ya kwanza na ya mwisho. Next time jambo kama hili linafanyika hapa, hakuna gari tutaruhusu kupita hii barabara.
Still on matters road safety, where Kenyans have been cautioned to remain extra vigilant on the roads as the festive season approaches, stakeholders in the transport and creative sectors have warned of rising cases of road carnage and resultant fatalities that are often witnessed during the festivities due to increased travel. Speaking during the launch of the festive season road safety campaign in Nairobi, Northwise Music Hub artist director Al Onyango said the initiative will leverage on strategic partnerships between road safety authorities and players in the arts sector. The initiative is set to spread safety messages not only through enhanced policing, but also through music, community engagement and creative outreach. The campaign will prioritize several engagement activities, including a sensitization walk slated for the 23rd of November 2025, starting at the Uhuru Park main entrance in a bid to rally the public towards responsible road usage.
Music soothes the soul. And when that message comes through music, we hope that this time around we are going to have a huge impact.
Road safety is a shared responsibility. This campaign uses a unique approach, music and community engagement, to make road safety messages clear, memorable and relatable.
Our objective is to ensure that all Kenyans master the song. So even as they ignore the rules on the road, but the song is in their memory. So whenever they listen to it over and over again, that is when we will get to a point where we arrive at change of behavior.
The government is in the process of quantifying losses that arose from this week's cyber breach for some government websites. Broadcasting and Telecommunication Principal Secretary Stephen Isaboke says budgets for fighting cybercrime will be increased. Isaboke made the remarks in Nairobi at the ongoing 2025 National Cyber Security Conference. We do apologize. Hope that we can get you that story soon. Farmers in Machakos County have reported a significant increase in their yields after receiving training on pest control. Kafasi Pest Program lead Dr. Muo Kasina highlighted that maize crop under irrigation is the most vulnerable crop to pests such as fall armyworms, especially during dry periods. The training program provided farmers with a platform to share their experiences, while experts offered deeper insights into pest management.
Farmers have had a lot of problems. Before, farmers were not using pest control products on maize. Now you cannot grow maize without pesticides. And one of the things we are doing is working to reduce use of pesticides, because also we know negative effects of pesticides, and not only on humans, on birds, on wildlife, but also on other small organisms. That has a lot of effect on the environment.
Tumeona tumetoka mbali, sababu kama mimi mkulima mwaka juzi nimelima na mradi wa Kafasi Bwana Kasina, na nikapanda kilo 4 za mahindi na nikatumia mbolea kama fertilizer na nikaweka mbolea ile ya ng'ombe. Mimi kwa shamba langu yenye nilikuwa nimelima na wao nilitoa gunia 10.5.
A consultative meeting between government agencies, community leaders and landowners in Kangemi and Dagoretti signaled a shift towards coordinated planning of river system in Nairobi. Nairobi Rivers Regeneration Program Project Manager Kahigu Njoroge says that the regeneration effort will introduce a more predictable regulatory environment by using scientific methods to identify the true high watermark and riparian boundaries.
The session at the Nairobi Rivers Commission boardroom brought together MCAs from Dagoretti, Kikuyu, Kiambu, Kangemi and Ruta wards, alongside landowners whose property border the river network. The meeting focused on creating shared ground around riparian regulation, land rights and implication of the special planning area framework.
The biggest tragedy is tunachafua maji kutoka kwa source. So hii maji tunaona ni black. Sisi ni source of the river.
People thought that their land is being taken away, and Nairobi Rivers Commission is very clear that it is not a land expropriation process that is happening here. So I think it is very clear now. We only need to go to the ground, like the chairperson has said, that we do the nitty-gritties and the specifics of each area.
The pressures of inadequate water system, uncontrolled construction and polluted waterways have created economic drag, inflating housing costs, affecting industrial productivity and distorting the real estate market. Stakeholders at the meeting acknowledge that Nairobi's long-term competitiveness now hinges on resolving these systematic challenges. Nairobi Rivers Commission Chairperson Bishop Wanjiru said laws governing the regeneration process will be reviewed.
Tumeongeleshana watu wa Dagoretti South, Dagoretti North na Westlands. Tumeongeleshana na sana hata jamii ya Kangemi. Tumeongeleshana kuhusu kazi ambayo inaendelea kwa mto, siwa ambayo inajengwa kwa mto. Na tukiongeleshana hivyo, tumeongeleshana na community, tumesikia malalamishi yao na sisi tukatoa mawaidha yetu, na pamoja na wa MCAs wa hizi area tukakubaliana vile hii kazi na mikakati itawekwa na vile itaendelea mbele.
Felix Q for Lunchtime News.
Now to the story that I had earlier mentioned, the government is in the process of quantifying losses that arose from this week's cyber breach for some government websites. Broadcasting and Telecommunication Principal Secretary Stephen Isaboke says budgets for fighting cybercrime will be increased. Isaboke made the remarks in Nairobi at the ongoing 2025 National Cybersecurity Conference.
We haven't certified or sort of quantified the extent of loss, but anytime you obviously have an outage, there's a loss of time, there's a loss of resources, and obviously a loss of opportunity to actually have done economic activity. And that's why we actually want to appeal to all Kenyans that let's also be the agents, good agents of deterring cybercrime. On Monday, the country actually came under attack from a group called PCP at Kenya, which was actually basically cyber criminals. But as you saw the response from government, we were actually able to detect that attack, which actually tried to take down a couple of government websites. And within a couple of hours, we had actually recovered all those websites and obviously neutralized that cyber threat. In terms of the threats.
And that's why it's so important to work internationally, because these are crimes that don't pay respect to borders. They're transnational crimes. And it's why we see the UK sees its partnership with Kenya as being so important, one that is open and trusting and where we can have conversations about where is this criminal activity coming from, what is its nature, and therefore what are the kinds of responses that we need to put in place to ensure that it doesn't impact on critical national infrastructure, on the private sector and on opportunity here in Kenya.
A look at sports now, where Diani Kwale County locals have urged the government to host more international sporting activities in a bid to boost tourism through sports in Kenya. They expressed their views during the ongoing African Road Cycling Championship, where South Africa's Brandon Downs led his compatriot Jason van Rensburg to a duo sweep in the boys' 14-kilometer elite race. Kenyan Kimani Wangai finished 10th. As Frederick Moke now reports. Bring us up to speed with what is happening.
A very good afternoon to you, Marie, Yambo, and indeed welcome to this live broadcast coming to you live from Diani, Kwale County. Although the weather here, the temperatures keep on rising steadily, but that doesn't stop the African cyclists and enthusiasts from attending to the second day of the African Road Cycling Championship that Kenya is hosting for the second time. This being the 15th edition, and just moments, a few moments from now, we just witnessed the final lap of the finish of the women junior 64.5 kilometers race. And just remind you that Kenya, being the host for this championship, is being represented by a total of 43 cyclists. Although Kenyans have been facing stiff competition from opponents, including Eritrea and South Africa, including also Ethiopia, which has been performing so sparkingly. And right now, I'll be just joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Cycling Federation. That's none other than Kelvin Mwangi. Welcome to this live broadcast.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe tell us how the atmosphere is as Kenya continues hosting this African Cycling Championship.
Thank you very much. Well, we are having a carnival sort of atmosphere. We have all the locals coming into the roads. This is something big and something huge that has never been witnessed in Diani or this coastal region. And also in Kenya, this is also huge. This is bigger than what we did last year. So we're excited, everybody's excited, and we're just looking forward to giving the best games that we are able to do. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Maybe you've been here since the start of this event, and we have seen how Kenyans have performed so far. Maybe generally comment about the performance of the Kenyan cyclists.
Well, what I can say is the Kenyan athletes are giving their best. It can, perhaps it's not the medals that we're expecting so far, but they are giving their best, they are focused, they are leaving nothing in the tank. Asante sana.
What are some of the notable lessons that you have learned as the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Cycling Federation?
It's still early because this is day 2 and this is the first road race that we've had. On the time trial, there are some lessons that we've picked. This is in terms of the equipments that we need. And this is an area that we've already spoken with the government yesterday. We're going to lobby, and we've also gotten some of the partners that are willing to come and support this. And because this is the first race that we've had that is on the as a road race, we still have some time to think about what we need to improve on. And this will just be in the report that we are going to discuss as a federation, together with relevant bodies, which includes the our National Olympic and also the Ministry of Sports led by our able CS.
And we understand that Kenya has leveraged sports as one of the ways to, boost local tourism and sports tourism in the country. Maybe what's your comment on that?
When it comes to sports tourism, is one of the biggest and the money earning ventures that is happening on the coast. And this is also an area that is boosting the economy of Kenya and bringing a lot of foreign revenues. Because first of all, Nairobi, Mombasa and all other regions have the best environment. Kenya, we are very strategically placed such that we have the coastal region in one area. We have mountains not too far like in Kwale, and we have the Gedi ruins. We have everything around one area. And this is one of the hugest things that we are helping Kenya Tourism Board. We are partnering actually with Kenya Tourism Board to come up with routes that we can be able to put out there for potential tourists to come and visit and also engage in these routes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
That has been Kelvin Mwangi, the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Cycling Federation. And as you have heard from him, the Federation is making some strategies or initiatives to ensure that the game grows within the country and that we continue nurturing talent and skills at a tender age. This being the second time that Kenya is hosting the African Road Cycling Championship. Remember, it is the 15th edition, and Kenya is being represented by a total of 43 cyclists who will be seeking to, show their brilliance. But so far, so good. The Kenyans have really tried to, they have experienced stiff competition from competitors like Eritrea, Ethiopia, and South Africa. But we'll keep you posted about what will be happening later in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Mary Yambo in studio.
Thank you so much. Frederick Mwoki reporting there from Kwale County during the cycling championship that is going on, wishing Kenyans all the best. Now we continue where Kisumu George Opio put in a sterling performance to beat Kenya Defence Forces Abdi Faraji in the middleweight category of an entertaining bout during the fifth leg of the National Boxing League. Kisumu County home favourite Frank Omondi was stunned by Kenya Prison's Mwinyi Kombo, the featherweight category. Ashola Simon reports.
Before a packed United Church Hall at Nyamasaria in Kisumu County, George Opio beat Abdi Faraj in entertaining bout in the middleweight category as the fifth leg of the National Boxing League kicked off in Kisumu County. Buoyed by the home crowd, Opio weathered the early storm from Faraj before dominating a shell-shocked KDF fighter. In another entertaining bout, Kenya Prison's Mwinyi Kombo put up an accomplished fight to beat fan favorite Frank Omondi, alias Commando, on points. The heavy-hitting Omondi found it difficult to dominate the nimble-footed Kombo, who showed his class as he outgunned his opponent to clinch the bout on points. KDF boxers dominated in all categories. KDF's Abednego Chalo punished Daniel Mwangi from Laikipia, forcing the judges to call off the fight. Similar fate befell Eric Odoyo from Kisumu, who found the going tough against KDF's Washington Wandera. Richard Odhiambo from Kisumu also found it difficult to outpunch KDF's opponent Caleb Wandera, necessitating the judges to call off the bout. Kenya Police lead the points log with 80 points, followed by KDF with 70 points. Nairobi County has 2 points, while Nakuru and Kenya Prisons have 22 and 21 points respectively. The finals are scheduled for Saturday. Achola Simon, Channel on Sports, Kisumu County.
And that story by Achola Simon from Kisumu brings us to the end of the Lunchtime News this afternoon. Thank you so much, as always, for your time and your company. My name is Mariambo, and helping me on the sign language was Lucy Maura. Good afternoon.
what Mr. Zuniga's wife says when she finds out.
Stop lying. Tell the truth.
I swear
Who
that...
have you told that we're having an affair?
I swear that I haven't told anyone, Avatar.
Aren't you interested in my Aunt Rebecca? Huh?
Now, who told you that?
She told me that you made a pass at her. She has no reason to lie to you.
He wants to separate us.
But perhaps she knows some of his secrets. Wouldn't you say?
This has to stop. Because you cannot continue hiding it forever. Please, tell her why you stood her up at the altar. Tell her who the father is of the baby Nora's expecting.
They want to look at the dynamics, the definition, and also the deep understanding of worship.
We need first to understand who he is before we can worship him. Because when it comes to worship, what we are worshiping isn't what he's doing, but who he is. Yeah. You are good, you are kind, you are more than this. Yeah. So that's worship. Praise is